All right, joining us now on Drive the Lane, the long-awaited debut, former Buckeye, Big Ten Player of the Year, Naismith Player of the Year, current NBA player, and one of the coolest-looking dudes ever with those glasses and that cool hair. Evan Turner, ET, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. It's been a long time coming, so I'm glad to be part of the show. I've been watching y'all from a distance and seeing what you're doing, and I'm glad you weathered the storm. You know, it was an actual lifestyle as opposed to like a trendy thing. So congrats to both of you.
We appreciate that. We've been grinding, and it's paying off because now we got one of our best guests ever. Before we talk some Ohio State and talk some Evan Turner, got to know this. What are your thoughts on the NBA season right now and the bubble as a whole?
Man, it's been cool. I think it's been fun to watch. It's been a lot of entertaining games. I think the scoring, obviously, Dame Lillard's been the hot thing. Luka Doncic has been a lot of great talent, and I think it's been something that the country, and everybody's been looking forward to. I think one thing that you kind of comprehend about sports, not only is it competitive nature and competitive thing, but the consumers and the fans and everybody use it to get away and enjoy themselves. And I think that kind of made this whole quarantine a little bit easier. Just watching that.
So you mentioned Dame, and obviously we're going to bring him up just because you're a former Trailblazer yourself.
Yeah.
You're human. You're rooting for guys that either you played with or you're your friends, right? In this whole thing.
Yeah. No, of course, always. I'm always rooting with them. I mean, with the guys in Portland, I still talk to them a lot. So sometimes I feel like I'm in the trenches with them, but you always want your friends to do well and, keep competing and, play at a high level. And it's been fun to watch them. They've had some of the most exciting games of the summer.
Do you miss being there with them, or are you kind of happy to be on the outside looking in?
No, I mean, I comprehend, when it comes down to it, I just comprehend the game. I comprehend the business. I comprehend, when the tides turn and when the pages turn, and you kind of just let it be what it's going to be. I was fortunate enough to go over there and, make it to the playoffs 3 consecutive years, win a division, win 50-plus games in the West, which is tough, and go to a Western Conference Finals. That was a efficient way to spend my time and, collect some money.
So on the other side, the East, obviously, your team is the Celtics, right?
Yeah. No, Brad, those are my dudes, man. Brad, Jay Larranaga. I'm always going to be a Marcus Smart fan. My dude, my dude JJ, a lot of people from there, Andy, Mannix, a lot of people. They showed me a lot of love. It was a great time in that city and, just positive energy. And, when you play for Boston, that feels more like a franchise. You know what I mean? It's just cool to be part of.
So then if Boston plays the Trailblazers in the finals, I mean, that's a little crazy, but it could happen. Who are you rooting for?
Man, that's tough. But honestly, I'm really tight with Dame, CJ, and all them. You know what I mean? So that'd be tough. Honestly, shoot, if the Trailblazers made it, they deserve to win. Honestly.
Yeah.
You break it down.
I think I agree with you there.
Yeah, and Brad, Brad is gonna win 10 of them, in due time.
Yep.
They got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart for the next 15 years. They'll be fine.
So last year when you were with them, you really helped in that Game 7. You can be pointed to as one of the big reasons why why you guys made the Western Conference Finals. After that Game 7, after making the Western Conference Finals, were you like, all right, I earned this $70 million deal. I did my part.
I mean, honestly, to be up until that point, to be because I'm just so I comprehended way of life. I guess when I got the deal, I already got the deal, so I already knew I earned it. I was already on excuse my language, a bullshit 2-year, $6 million deal as is. Life balances itself out. You know what I mean? So when people are like, is it this? And I'm like, no, bro, I deserve some luck. That's it. Kiss my ass. I earned it. You understand what I'm saying? And then when we made it to the Western Conference Finals and, I played well, obviously it was it was a big collective effort from everybody else, of course. But, I mean, sure, I guess if you never really went there before, that was cool to see. And, people joke and say that's it. And, it was a blessing and, it's cool to be part of. I never really thought of you know, if I was out proving and earn my deal because it's all relative. You know what I mean? Because nobody ever mentioned sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Dude, let me just get out in front of it and let you know that you can say whatever you want on this week. There's no need to watch your language unless you want to watch your language.
Oh
Because,
no, okay, I was just making sure. I didn't know who was. I know your mom check out every episode, so I
no,
didn't
no,
know.
and she
I
would be the
didn't
first
want to.
person to swear if she was on here.
All
So
right,
so
cool.
don't even worry.
Yeah, I was just trying to keep it classy.
No, I
So,
appreciate that.
yeah,
But
no,
we
Go ahead.
one story that we have to talk about before we talk more hoops or anything. With the nice contract you had a nice house and a nice truck drove into your pool. Can you
yeah,
tell us about that story, please? I mean, it's one of my all-time favorite stories.
yeah. It's funny. So you go to Portland. It's not like Chicago, bro, where you hear 6 inches of snow's coming and you automatically, we're gonna ice the roads, soft the roads, make sure we plow, do all that stuff. In Portland, they won't soft the roads. So I live on a hill, So I guess that morning I'm just about to wake up. It's like 7:30 a.m. I'm getting up for shoot around. I have a game that night. I just I remember them saying that like the roads are a little like black ice, a little slippery. So when you're going downhill, there's a truck carrying 18 tons of dirt with bad brakes. So he's trying to go down the hill and he slides. Legit runs through like the guardrail, runs through my trees for privacy, drops down 20 feet and legitimately lands into my pool. Okay. So I'm just waking up for breakfast. So I'm like, it's like around Christmas time. So a couple days before the Christmas tree fell over. So I'm like, dang, like the Christmas tree fell over again. I'm hoping it didn't break glass. And then I just hear my chef say, a semi truck fell into your swimming pool. And I'm like, a semi truck fell into my swimming pool. I'm like, what the hell? And I go out there and it just looked like a Mel Gibson movie. It looked crazy. You know what I mean?
What
And
would
then I was
you have done if the guy in the truck was all wet in your pool and gets out and came up to you with a 21 Ohio State jersey and said, "Hey man, I just want your autograph. This is the only way I think I can do it."
honestly, I would have really thought that was the coolest shit on earth. You know what I mean? After I checked and been like, if the insurance is covered and I'm all good, do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like it's straight because after that, I got a brand new house and I had never used insurance before, so I got me
It's
a
like
new pool.
a real life State Farm commercial happened to you.
Bro, it's crazy, but you wanna know what's so crazy? It's like it don't like if you know me, like shit like that always happens. So it's like, of course. Like even my teammates are like, of course that shit would happen to Evan. Like legit the second I found out the dude wasn't gonna die, like obviously the fire department, everything was coming in and stuff. I called my people and I was like, yo, this is what happened. They're like, well, you're insured, so you're good. And I was like, bet. And I just walked down the hill and went to shoot around. And that was it.
I'm
And then
picturing you calling up Coach Stotts and going, Coach, I'm gonna be a little late to shoot around, so don't find me, please. A semi truck drove into my house.
no, so you want to know what's so funny? I sent a video into our team security, be like, I'm gonna be late, So I've been late like twice before that over the 3 years. So when we walk in, I guess when Rick Riley walks in to go tell Terry Stotts like, yo, Evan's gonna be late, and he's like, and Stotts hates when you're late. He's like, well, a truck fell into his pool. So Terry kind of looked at him like, you fell for that, bruh? Like, you know what I mean? He's like, no, I'm telling you. And then legit showed him the video, and it's like, there's a semi truck in his pool. And then that's how we finesse from there, bruh.
It's like the dog ate my homework. It's like, no, I'm not fine. It's like, no, here's the video of the dog eating my homework.
Yeah, that was crazy, bro. Literally, bro. It was legitimately crazy. I told you for 3 days they couldn't get the truck out the pool. For like 4 months afterwards, all the workers, I had all glass windows. Like on my second floor, when I just look out, I would see like 20 people just outside fixing you know what I mean?
It's so crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And it took like 9 lunch breaks. And I'm just joking, but it definitely is a blessing, a curse. And the dude didn't. I mean, a gift, a blessing in disguise. And the dude didn't die or anything. And it could have worked out best way possible, because if he would have went 7 feet to the left, he would have crashed into my kitchen, and I would have just been waking up to eat breakfast.
It's crazy.
It is.
Yeah. So.
I had written down on my questions like, what's the funniest / craziest NBA story you have? obviously that is in like a different realm of crazy. But
That's
I mean,
a
like,
story.
you've had a bunch of, high-level all-star teammates, been around a bunch of cool coaches, everything. So I'm just curious, like, if you have one story in your mind that sticks out, maybe even untold, so we get a little headline out of you, that
I'm
kind of
sure.
is like your holy shit NBA story.
Holy shit, NBA story. Let me think. Oh man, I wish I can tell you the good stuff, but let's see. Hmm.
It's a
All
tough.
right, huh?
I said it's a toughie.
No, that's a toughie, right? Because there's a lot of them. I think. I mean, I thought like a holy shit NBA story. I thought like just outside looking in, kind of was when we were competing. We had this crazy game, and it's like Dame and KD. They're going back and forth. I think KD had 50, and Dame had like 44. And I just remember, hearing them go back and forth like trash talking at the free throw line, like just how tense it was, like what I mean? Because it's like when you break it down, it's like two head honchos, like what I'm saying. So when it comes down to it, like as an NBA player, honor amongst thieves, you kind of stay in your lane. If it, that's let them two talk it out and leave it at that. So it was kind of going like back and forth and back and forth, and then like thank the Lord, Dame finally shot some free throws, and then after that, I think they probably scored like 25 apiece. It was legit the craziest thing ever. But like that trash talk there of just like just two alphas that probably been circling each other, but to lock up with each other, you know what I mean? That was kind of crazy because that was two real scorers, two real talents now locked in, and we ended up winning that game. And Dame was unreal, and KD. I mean, that dude, man, was unreal just scoring. You know what I mean? So.
It really is amazing in the NBA because it doesn't happen in college. The NBA
Yeah.
is the only league where the stars can align, where two top 20 players in the world are both on, right? Even if they're kind of on, it still could be a 35 to 44 type of deal.
Yeah.
You're like, holy shit, does basketball get any better than this?
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's been crazy. See some battles and see like some real talent. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. So, I mean, some nights it's like it's legit.
You mentioned battles, you mentioned back and forths. I grew up a big time Chicago Bulls fan. Curious what the status of your relationship or lack thereof with D Rose is at the moment.
D Rose is a legend, bro. You know what I mean? I've always been a fan of D Rose. Ever since we were kids. What was it? I remember being a sophomore. Shout out to Michael Horton, the Horton family, the Hoop Till It Hurts team. But they put on a super sophomore showcase, so I wasn't even on. You know what I mean? Nobody really knew me actually. A guy named Jeff Rubin begged, knew Mr. Horton, but kind of begged them to let me play and get into the showcase. So I'm like, yo, this kid's good. I wasn't even playing varsity at the time or nothing. I was just coming from the freshman team and playing sophomores. So I remember going there, and I remember hearing about a kid. Obviously, he couldn't play varsity because his coach didn't allow freshmen to play varsity. So Derrick Rose is going into his sophomore year, and I remember showing up and stuff, and I'm on a team with a guy when saw in pictures and stuff. You know what I mean? And I remember we had to go around and introduce ourselves. I just remember this shy dude, legit like arms and shirt, like legit like this, and then he legit says, "I'm Derrick." Like, you know what I mean? And then that was the last note of calmness he had to him because he legit went out and was just going crazy. I tell people, I had a great tournament, but he passed me the ball a lot, and I went in that tournament like not ranked or anything, and coming back like top 10 in the state to start my sophomore year. You know what I mean? And that just shows you what type, like how special he was back then. And obviously we had the battles that everybody talks about that I always hear at when we were in high school, which was a great game and great entertainment. But we never ever had a relationship in general. Like my next conversation with him would be probably my third conversation with him because South Side and West Side so far, and whatever happened in high school kind of got further, it kind of got blown out of water a little bit, then rekindled again when we played in the playoffs. But I remember seeing him go down with his knee injury, and I remember sitting there and like, to me in my head, I was just like, "There's no way, like there's no way he goes down." You know what I mean? I just remember like just praying like, "There's no way, like he has to get up." Like just hearing him tear his ACL and then continue to get hurt and stuff. Like that killed everybody because that's he's Chicago. You know what I mean? And for the youth in the city, and the higher he goes, the higher the youth can really see. So that really hurt, and to come back and stuff, see what he's doing now and stuff. To get, when he's from Minnesota, got 50 points, and he's back where people need to start paying attention, where he's really at all-star level, and he's really back at a high level. So I've been nothing but, obviously a competitor versus D-Rose, but a dude that's been rooting for anybody from Chicago. So
I think because of how much you were embraced by Columbus and Ohio State and Ohio as a whole, I think you're kind of unfairly left off of like greatest Chicago basketball players. And part of it is because I think you're so thrown into Ohio. And I think that plays a little bit of a role.
Yeah, you want to know what's so crazy? You want to know what it really is? Like, you guys probably don't. You probably think I'm from Westchester. You don't know where I'm from, do you?
I don't.
I know you went to St. Joe's.
All right, so kid you not, I could take you over there if you really wanted to, and everything like that. I could take you over there, whatever, everything like that. I'm literally, no joke, from Sermon. Hold on real quick, my fault. I'm literally, my fault.
You're good.
I'm literally, no joke, from Cermak and Pulaski, from out on the west side. I grew up 10 minutes from, at United Center. And when you watch Hoop Dreams, every single day I woke up and took the bus at 5:30 a.m. into the burbs. So when people sit there and stuff, if I went to a public high school, I would have went to Perry. You understand what I'm saying? So then when you talk about some of the top high school dudes, D-Rose and all those dudes, D-Rose, unreal, unbelievable. But I already, after a while, it didn't matter what it was or anything in the city and stuff, or when people leave me off those lists, because people already know, it's already official. You know what I mean? And I was already official hooping on playgrounds prior to that. And people, when I would hear through the grapevine of just city players and stuff, it's like, me and Dimitri, you go to St. Joe's or not, you didn't want to come through to Westchester. You didn't want us to catch you nowhere because we were blowing them the hell out. And I think sometimes with the public schools, a lot of great talent, a lot of great things like that. But when you come into the city and you play them in the playoffs and stuff, there's a lot of animosity. You know what I mean? From city and playoffs and suburbs. So sometimes I don't think it's the city doing it. It's just the way the newspapers and things like that to just leave you off. You name whoever. Coach Pingatore tell you whatever. D-Wade, Jabari, all those dudes are official. AD, everybody's unbelievable. Iman Shumpert, we went to middle school together and stuff. And everybody's official, but I don't need to be left off a list. And if I had to show up and play, I can go get it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it ended up beautifully. 10-year career.
Yeah.
A lot of money. You know what I mean?
Who are you trading with? Probably no one, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To me, what list? In my list, I invented my own little world where I'm in nirvana. Everything is a plus. Because coming from, coming from the bottom, coming from Cermak, Pulaski, I'm up. I'm legitimately up. To go somewhere and, like I told you, play freshmen and sophomores and nobody know my name to, forever being, remembered, in certain places is a beautiful thing. And I'm up. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I think it only makes sense to transition this into some Ohio State talk, because that's why people are listening to this episode, because they want to hear from the dude who's got his jersey in the rafters. There's only a handful of those guys. You, me, and 3 others or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I figured, bro. That's why I'm so blessed.
So, all right. Tell the people at home, because I know the story, but how did you get to Ohio State? Because you talked about it. You weren't a D-Rose. You weren't a Jabari. No one knew who you were freshman until the end of the sophomore year, right? How did you end up at Ohio State?
Honestly, a lot of people don't know, but my dad's side is from Asheville, Ohio. So every summer since I was 10 years old, I came to spring and summer. My first time coming to Columbus, Scooney Penn and Buckeyes went to the Final Four. Like, you know what I mean? So I remember even that summer, I would go to NYSP camps at Ohio State. I got MVP at the Clark Kellogg camp, like all that. So I went and played at the LeBron James tournament. And I remember before we played in this game, one our coach was like, the kids you're about to play versus next is by far the best shooter you'll ever see. And I was like, what? He's like, he's going to Ohio State. He put up 77 points in the game. If you don't come out ready, he's going to kill you. So I'm like, who is he? Like, you know what I mean? And he's like, it's John Diebler. I'm like, John Diebler? I'm like, who is that? Like, you know what I mean? So he come out some white kid, like this. I'm like, this white kid is going ham like that. I'm like, yeah. So my uncle's at the game. He's a big Buckeye guy. My little cousin, who's like 4 years younger than me, was at the game. So he's like 12 or something. And then Coach Mata just so happens to be at the game. First few plays of the game, Diebler pulls up on the volleyball line. Then I switched on him. I played pretty well, obviously. Coach Mata was intrigued, but my little cousin went up to Coach Mata because he's a big Buckeye fan. I was like, hey, Coach Mata, who are you here to see? And he was like, that's my guy right there. He's like, you're not here to see my cousin? He's like, who's your cousin? He was like, Evan Turner. He was like, what? Like, you know, and that was and my uncle was like, yo, Coach Mata's a man. And I probably ended up killing that day, like that weekend. That was Saturday. By Thursday, I had a scholarship from Ohio State.
It's awesome.
And then it turned out I had my offers. I was weighing my offers and stuff. And, you know, I ended up going to NBA Top 100 camp in Matt Costa and Dallas and, you know, Diebler. And they were cool. I always tell this funny story, but, you know, me and my mom, we were kind of butting heads. And I had Wisconsin kind of close, you know. And Ohio State, I definitely wanted to go. It was definitely cool. And I knew how much talent it was. And I was just like, man, I'm going to Ohio State. That's it. I'm going. I got rebelled, and I was like, I'm going to the Ohio State. This is where I want to go. And then that was it. It happened.
Wisconsin was number 2, though?
Wisconsin was damn, like, honestly, Wisconsin recruited me well enough where I should have gone. Like, they like, we've spoken on it, and they've been mad where they're legitimately, they had a good reason to be mad. I should have gone.
Right.
It's so
crazy.
You know, you hear so many stories, like the famous Coach Mata story is that he told D'Angelo Russell, like, hey, man, come to Ohio State. You're going to make it on the back end. I promise you that. Did he say anything to you like, hey, man, you're going to be player of the year if you come play here? What was kind of the stuff you were hearing from him when you were making your final decision, if you can remember all the way back then?
One thing I remember was just, like, he had me, like, juiced, like, ready to play for him just off, like, me and him, like, his energy. You know what I mean? And I think one thing that you could see that he saw a bigger picture in where the program was going, and it really made you believe in talent because he was only getting the best of the best. You know what I mean? And I think when it came down to it, you know what he taught to me sometimes, and he knew how good I wanted to be. He would tell me, like, these are moments where you have to take your jump. You know what I mean? Or, like, great players play in games like this and they win these games. Like, you have to get a Big Ten championship. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that type shit, you know? And I think this really has set the tone for, you know, the mental capacity. And, you know, I remember when we won the NIT championship my freshman year, and legit, when you went into the locker room, it was like, yo, we didn't come here to win this. Like, I've never seen a trophy or anything, you know? Like, you really had just set
I've never seen it either.
Yeah, you never seen it, yeah. And that's just pretty much what he was doing, setting the tone of where your mind should be at.
So let me hit you with this. One story that he would always tell us about you, and he would tell the young guys this because you had a rough start, right? I mean,
Yeah.
And he would say, one of the best players to ever play for me, Evan Turner, he didn't have it figured out right away. And there was this point where you had to say, all right, am I going to go this way or am I going to go that way to figure it out? And you obviously did. What was the turning point for you to go from really good college basketball player to the best in the country?
I think it was like one thing Coach Mata said was like just being 2 feet in. You know what I mean? That was honestly it. He's like, yo, you really gotta be 2 feet in. He's like, have you been 2 feet in? And that really wasn't, you know. And I think one thing was that he made me challenge my mind. You know what I mean? Like, it was all mental. He's like, you're super talented, you're great, but he's like, mentally you have to keep, you know, getting stronger and keep getting better. You know, and I thought that was just one thing, man. I think, like, once we broke down, we sat down, and we kind of got on the same page. I think he comprehended that or where I was coming from, and my energy and my passion. And fortunately enough, he took a lot of time with me to channel that energy and put it the right way. And even during games where it'd be moments where they could be tough moments, I can get wound up. He was a voice I listened to, and really got me on track. And just the support I had from him and just a friendship is really what made me go that much further for him. I mean, I came back from a broken back injury, when I pretty much could have just sat out and did whatever, because I really wanted to win for him and my teammates, you know what I mean? And I didn't owe him anything, but I felt as though he would do it for me, I would do it for him.
That's awesome to hear, because all the stories I've heard about him, all the stories I've heard about you, is that that's exactly what you guys would do for each other. You can't talk about Coach Mata, Evan Turner, and Ohio State and not talk about your half-court shot against Michigan in the Big Ten tournament when he was screaming after. We've heard from his perspective the last minute or so of that game. Let's hear the Evan Turner perspective of the end of that game.
Man, honestly, this is real perspective. So I realized what type of year I was having, and just watching TV and stuff like that, or just watching movies and everything. And I was like, I need a big moment. There's a big moment that's going to solidify all this. I know I've done a lot, but I need a moment where it's like, this is it.
The Heisman moment.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it, So I was at the gym that week just shooting. I was just like, for whatever reason, I'm like, bro, I feel like I'm going to have to hit a crazy shot, So I shot a couple from deep, and I was just like, just hold your follow through. But during then, I was like so, confident and, borderline, like arrogant, or like a showman in the sense of like I was quiet, but I was aggressive, but like I was showman in the sense of, ta-da. So I was like, if I make a shot, I'm going to act like I already knew it was going in. So mind you, you're playing a game, and it's one of the worst games I ever had. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting here like, bro, how the hell are we losing? We were just up 15. So when they came back, whatever, in my head, I'm like, bro, this is playing out super weird. I promise you, this is what's really going on last minute. And then Manny Harris comes over, hits a pull-up over. Manny Harris hits a pull-up over Dallas Lardell, whatever, yada, yada. We go to timeout, and I remember thinking, like, yo, this is where I'm going to make the shot. You know what I mean? So Coach Mata draws up a play or whatever. I remember before the play, they're like, Evan, you go this way, and if not, you got to shoot it from here, kick it to John. And then Davis like, if they trap you, I'm going to throw it back here. I'm thinking like, yeah, okay. I'm about to let this go.
This is my moment.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. Like, I'm almost like, okay. Like, whatever. You might as well not even wait. So when I'm lining up at the free throw line, I'm looking like, why isn't anybody like pressing me? You know what I mean? So I'm looking like, is this serious? So I was like, I'm just going to make sure I shoot my normal follow through, like I said, and don't react crazy after it goes in. So that's when I shot it, held it, and then I turned around. Like, you know what I mean? And then
showman.
Yeah, but the coolest part about that was Mata was so turned up.
Oh, it was so crazy.
Coach Mata was so turned up. I was like, bro, what if we would have gotten technical, or you know what I mean? Like rescinded. Yeah. That was a big game, and led to a special weekend. And obviously, that was God, and that was a cool moment. And I guess is what really, I guess what I was looking for to really bring up moments like this, I guess.
So obviously that's got to be one of, if not the best moment of your time at Ohio State. Individual moments, not a tournament championship, not a – yeah. What is an underrated part of your experience at Ohio State that you always look back on? You're like, that's what you're talking to Diebler about. That's what you're talking to all these boys about all the time. What's the most underrated
year, my last year, the same year, we started off 1-3 in Big Ten play. I broke my back December 5th. My first game back was like January 6th, and we were like 1-2 in Big Ten play in the first few games. And we had to go to Purdue, and Purdue was top 5, and Robbie Hummel would have never tore his ACL. They would have went to the Final Four. Like, they were an unreal team, and to play at Mackey is impossible. So we come down. We're down 14. We come back and win that game. We end up winning 12, I think 11 out of the next 12 games to tie for the Big Ten championship. And, we went to Purdue and Michigan State to, to win on the road and stuff. And Then went to the Big Ten tournament and won that. I don't think that gets enough credit because we started off 1-3. We could have mailed it in. We could have all been selfish and been like, hey, like, whatever, it's not my problem. Like, I think the biggest thing was like it made me recognize, like, unity, chemistry, and, like, what teamwork can really do. Like, it wasn't because, like, I was great or this person was great. It was legit because Evan cared about John. John cared about Dallas. Dallas cared about Dave. Dave cared about PJ. PJ cared about Will. Like, we were all, like, you know what I mean? Like, we were brothers. And you legit persevere through something as brothers. And 1-3 in the Big Ten with 4 other top 25 teams. And we still did that. And all we had to do, and not saying, like, because I came back or anything, was like, we're legit, like, the second we all get back together, it's over. And we always felt like that. That's one of the best bonds I ever had. I feel powerful when I'm around them. They feel powerful around me, but it's just like that's always been the tone. The second we get together, we can do anything.
So you mentioned some of your teammates. I know this is a hard question. I think I know the answer, though. Andrew definitely doesn't. But I guess NBA also, but who's your favorite college teammate of all time, favorite NBA teammate of all time? I know it's hard, but I think you have an answer.
I'm going to have to – man, I got to go with the O-State team. I think somebody I respected the most and never got enough credit was David Lighty.
Yeah.
Because, you know, just as a friend, like, he's one of my best friends. And as a person, like, as a leader, you know how much he sacrificed and genuinely, like, truly just didn't care who got the credit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, even somebody I looked up to, like, when I had great moments and it could have happened to him, like, to look to him and he pat me on the back or genuinely be happy for me. You know, that meant the world to me, and that was a genuine thing. And I think as a young individual who's super competitive, sometimes you don't know how to hone those type things. And I was fortunate enough, like I said, when my brothers were Devers the same way, Dallas was the same way, Will Buford, PJ. Like, it was like, no matter what, like, they helped me become better because at the end of the day, if I wasn't kept keeping up with them, I would have to, you know, get voted off the island. They were just such great people. Like, if I wasn't being a great teammate, it would be shown by how they acted. You understand what I'm saying? And, like,
Absolutely.
Like I said, like, O-State was dope, but, like, being around those individuals is the best thing that ever happened in my career because it helped me become a better friend, better man. And, you know, it's still my bond now.
Yeah, and if anyone doesn't believe the bond still exists, then they don't pay attention to TBT or anything like that.
Yeah.
How special, and we're just going to pretend this year doesn't happen, weird year, bubble, doesn't count.
Yeah, but that was crazy because even when we lost, bro, it's like I was upset, but I didn't care. It's like, bro, I'm going down with these dudes anyway. Like, we were just like, damn, we lost it, but, like, genuinely, it was the best loss we could have ever had because it's like, bro, I'm losing with this group every time.
There were some rumors that you were going to play. How close was that to actually happening?
Honestly, I never really thought about it. No, I thought about it, then I was like, is this real? And then I was like, what would time show up to be? And then I was like, do I have time to do it? And, like, prepare to get it done. And then it's just so much that happened just, like, with real life stuff going on where there wasn't really much time. I was playing and stuff. But I really thought we were going to win regardless. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to make it a thing where you come back and it's some type of nonsense attention on some throwback memories from a decade ago. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't about any of that. I legit thought, regardless of which, before it happened or not, I thought we already had a cheat code. I thought it was already unfair. You understand what I'm saying? So.
Who'd you think was really, for this season, or this year, I don't really know what to call it, this tournament from TBT this year, who did you think was going to be kind of the go-to guy?
For Scarlet and Gray, right? I mean,
yeah.
Carmen's Crew, right? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, you always know. You always know it's gonna be Lighty. You can get Lighty going. You get Will Buford. It was so many, man. Deshaun Thomas. You know what I mean? You get Dribbler going. Like, it was just, man, it was tough. That was a really good team to face in the span of, you know, it's like a tournament round. They already had some flow, and we couldn't really turn the corner. And next year's gonna be a fun year. Hopefully, we can try to get Kraft to play. I doubt. I don't know how tough.
No, he's playing. Are you serious? Playing.
Hopefully it works.
I guess you would know better than me, but how could he not? He's always going to be in shape, right? Why would he not play?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm like. it's only 2 weeks after summer. I think he could. I don't know what his obligations would be, but
That's a
I
good
think
point.
he could. Yeah, I think he could. I mean, I wouldn't want to
I
put,
think
have anybody else do it.
yeah. What? How? You know, I have to ask a question about Mark Titus because it wouldn't be an episode with me
Yeah,
if we didn't. He always jokes about how he should be on the bench. Like that'll never happen, right?
right in the NBA.
No, not in the NBA. And for Scarlet and Gray.
Oh no, fuck no. No, honestly, to be completely honest with you, like I don't know what for why. Like I like Titus too. I love Titus, bro. I just feel like if he could make it seem like it makes sense, Pat. But I'll give Titus this credit. So our freshman year, we were terrible. We would do like scrimmages where it'd be 10-minute scrimmages, and I kid you not, the only time we scored was at the free throw line. So we would legit have to put Titus in, who'd be sitting on the sideline for 2.5 hours. He'd come out and make like 2 or 3 threes in a row. Like we would depend, like Titus, shoot it. Like so, I give him credit for that. Because I remember I used to be like, Titus, you got to look for your, like he's the only one scoring buckets. We couldn't score. We run a play, he just shoot a three, he shoot a three.
That's always the walk-on experience, right? It's one of two ways, right? You either the guy that sits the whole practice, the whole game, comes in and can't do anything because you forget how to play basketball in that time, or you just have that fuck it mentality, and you're like, I'm just gonna chuck it and hope that it goes in, which is how me and Titus both operated. But then he had the whole I'm not gonna shoot it anymore because I'm perfect from the field. That wasn't my style, you know that.
No,
but.
I will say this: Titus, like as much as you joked or whatever, he was more solid than what we thought. So, and he's Titus was kind of arrogant. So he's like, I'm too good to get these minutes. So you know what I mean? And like, bro, okay, bro, but you still didn't you still didn't make it here. So go kill in that game, shit. You know?
Yeah, no, that's so true because at Ohio State, it's not at every school, but Ohio State, in order to be a walk-on, you have to be a really damn good basketball player, and people don't understand that. Like people, especially with like me and Titus, like we make a lot of fun of ourselves, right? So people thought that we sucked, but like then I get in at the end of the game and like I'm hitting shots, and people are like, "Oh my God, it's a miracle!" It's like, no, I'm a pretty damn good player. It's the weird walk-on experience.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you really got to actually be able to play it. Like some people, I think, like you see a walk-on games, and it's like, no, bro, like this dude's been going against future pros. Like, you know what I mean? Like this dude done some rigorous, intense, like all-world workouts. Like this dude is bench pressing twice his weight. This dude is being challenged mentally every single day. This dude got to make people believe he belongs, even when he didn't get offered to belong. And he physically he has no advantage in any sense. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like physically or whatever.
Yeah, I understand it pretty well.
That's but I'm saying like the earner's factor to get rooted for, whatever, and that's everything because it don't matter if you bald or not. I didn't met some idiots that could hoop and had no heart to push through. You know what I mean? Yeah. When it's time to count on them, they never ever did anything out of ordinary. They did everything they're supposed to. It's like you respect the dudes that work with everything. Kyle Madsen at the end of every practice was exhausted, legit drenched in sweat, exhausted, dead tired. But you knew he gave everything in each part of practice. You knew he didn't leave anything on the floor, So.
Yeah, absolutely.
ET, kind of my last Ohio State related question. So obviously the coaching staff and the personnel within the building is different now than when you were playing there. How much has Coach Holtman and his staff and everyone there now embraced you as an alumni?
No, it's been cool, man. I like Holtman. They're all part of the same kind of coaching family in the sense of Butler. You know what I mean? Because Coach Miley came from there, Brad Stevens. So they embraced me, a lot. I think they always been cool people. They've been respectful people. I mean, it's always so weird to talk to them because they're talking to me as like an elder. So like. I'm 30, so sometimes like really talking to kids and they're, giving advice from 19 or whatever. But his wife, the whole staff, everybody's always made us feel at home. And just, it's been positive. And, I think they've been trying to do a lot of positive things up there. They brought a lot of excitement so far. And I think, once these are the years when they start turning the corner and really start cementing what, his legacy and stuff, continue to.
Absolutely. And we're excited. I mean, obviously I have a little bit of different perspective just being a little less removed, from the program. And I think we both agreed that the years coming up, like you said, are going to be the ones where he shines, just like Coach Mata. He was great at the beginning, like Holtman, and then he took off like a rocket ship. I think it's the same sense for Coach Holtman, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think everything is a adjustment period. You see how fast he's done in the adjustment period of, the splashes he made. So I think when it comes to that and doing things the right way and teaching and, most importantly, just making it a culture, I think it'll work out.
Something we always like to do, and it's always better with guests like yourself that are a little more high profile. We just asked you a bunch of questions. Let's put you on the spot. It's time for you to ask Joey and I a question or two.
All right, bet. What if you could have anybody on the show, like good, bad, and different, I don't give a damn. It's like the cute girl from the Dairy Queen. Who would you have on there, and what would you ask her, or ask whoever?
Zolan, you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first. I kind of have two answers. So I have I would be making a mistake if I didn't say this. Gotta say LeBron as the dream guest, number one.
Yeah.
Have to have him
For
on.
you.
For me.
You.
Yeah, for me. My question would be, is Bronny going to go to Ohio State? That's definitely the question I would ask him.
Yeah.
But then
you weren't that.
Yeah.
Is Bronny going to even go to college? That's the real question.
I have to go to college.
Who needs college? He's just taking over the family business.
Yeah. Exactly.
Probably just like a random person to have on. I feel like, now you got me thinking with the girl from Dairy Queen. I feel like I got to come up with a good answer. Man, probably like someone's high school coach, like a famous player's high school coach, and ask them about what they were like in high school, like LeBron, like Keith Dambrot or Coach Drew, LeBron, or
that's real. I like that.
Or like Baker Mayfield's high school football coach would probably have some crazy Baker stories. So those are my two answers.
I want the Johnny Manziel story.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Ooh, that's a good one. Johnny Manziel would be very fun to have on. I think I'll give two answers too, I guess. First one, more realistic. We talk all the time about trying to have CJ McCollum on. I think that because he has the Ohio ties and he is like he's a podcaster, you just make the connection. That's one of our top guys on the list. He's right up there with you in terms of guys we wanted to have on.
Perfect.
So, and I met him at the Oklahoma game. If you remember that funny story that I probably can't tell on the podcast.
I do remember.
But
that was wild, bro.
That was That's when people ask me for a fun story from Ohio State. That's what I usually say, but never in the real world. But anyway, besides CJ, and I would ask him we would talk about Browns football. We would talk about podcasting. We would talk about everything. But
I got the Canton connection with him too, because my dad's from Canton.
Exactly.
I went to his high school.
That's why. Really? That's why he makes the most sense. That's the realistic, awesome guest for us. But the guy that the guy that I would love to have on more than anything, and it's not super realistic, but Obama. I think just an unbelievably cool, obviously a cool dude. He knows hoops. He loves to golf.
Yeah, the craziest thing is I feel like that it seemed unrealistic, but I feel like it would be more realistic than any other president.
I agree, 100%.
You understand what I'm saying? And I'm just saying you got the right type of thing, the Illinois Connect. You know what I mean?
It's not crazy. It's just that's the reach of all reaches, though.
Yeah.
You know?
No, but I'm just saying basketball. You know what I mean? You might know the right person. You know what I mean? And just
is that a hint, hint, wink, wink? You're the right person.
Man, hell no. If I knew him, you would know. Okay.
All right. My final question. All right. Will you follow me on Twitter after this?
I got you, bro. Say less. I have no problem following people. It's free. You feel me? So
you follow Drive the Lane, but you don't follow Andrew Bolden.
My fault. I messed. I didn't want to make Joey jealous.
All right. Fair.
No, you're good. You're good. I do remember, ET, you retweeted one of my – I made a TikTok with my sister, and you retweeted
Oh, that was hard. I didn't know you could dance like that.
it.
I didn't know you. I was like, oh wow, Joey, you.
Yeah,
What are you
I
asking?
got moves, man. Hey, you remember we talked about it, Jews and black guys, man. We run in the same circles, you
Oh,
know?
you're funny, bro. I was sitting here dying, bro. I was like, what in the hell?
My mom was like, Joey, Evan just retweeted your tweet. And I was like, okay, like, that's not crazy. And then she was like, no, it's the dance one. And I was like, oh, shit. And now I got like 38,000 views on it. And I was like, wow, that was not expected.
Like, what is this? I'm like, oh, okay, he's lit.
Wait, I got a better idea. There's something else I would rather you do instead of following me.
What is it?
Will you tweet the eye emoji and be like, big things coming soon?
Ooh,
Like,
that's
what?
better.
Just tweet
If
the
you
eye
tweet
emoji and be like, big things coming soon, ... eye emoji. And people are going to be
Or like, be on the lookout. What day is this release? On Monday?
Wednesday.
Or Wednesday. Yeah, you could be like, big things next week, eye emoji.
All right, perfect. I got you. What if it backfires?
It's not going to backfire. The only thing, nothing worse is going to happen than someone ramming a semi-truck into your pool. So,
Right.
so no matter how bad it backfired, it wouldn't be worse than that.
You're right. Let's get it.
Perfect. Boom. All right, ET, this has been phenomenal. Joey, wrap this one up. He's your guy.
Shout out
Yeah,
to Joey, man, because he's been trying for 2.5 years.
Bro, seriously, literally a year, we'd be like, ET would be like, yeah, come through. I'm in Chicago. I'd be like, well, we're in Columbus. And then you'd be like, no, this was back in the COVID days, not in the COVID days where we could actually hang out. But yeah, I appreciate you making the time, man. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of time in making, obviously. So
No, I appreciate it, man. It took so long. Like, bro, I hope Joey don't think I'm trying to smoke him. Like, you know what I mean?
no chance. No, it was funny though, because we're just sitting here watching hoops, you know, so like it's fine, you know, it's whatever. It's just a little miscommunication, never hurt anyone.
Second time you come on will be less than every year, so we'll get you again.
All right.
All right.
All right.
See you, man.
See ya.